How the Sejjil broke through Israel. June 21, 2025 has already been dubbed Black Saturday for Israeli defense. It was on this day that Iran, using its strategic ballistic missile Sejjil, launched strikes in the ongoing war, targeting green infrastructure in central and southern Israel. The result was staggering: 10 explosions, chaos in Tel Aviv, mass panic, and most importantly, the complete helplessness of the so-called invincible Iron Dome system. According to Reuters, the attack began at 4:27 a.m. Israeli time. The first wave of missiles flew over the southern regions, including Be'er-Sheva. Just 10 minutes later, they struck Tel Aviv's industrial zone. According to information published in Haaretz, a major power station and a strategic radio transmitter serving the central command system were destroyed. The Iron Dome air defense system was indeed activated, but the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, later admitted in a press release that it was overwhelmed and ineffective against the massive barrage. Several videos circulating on social media showed Iranian missiles literally flying by without interception. One Tel Aviv resident told Channel 12, "The dome was active, but only as a visual show." The strike on Tel Aviv was accompanied by the destruction of key infrastructure, from military bases to communication networks. According to the latest reports, over 120 sites in Jerusalem were damaged, including a bunker beneath the Southern District's headquarters. More than 400 explosions were recorded, most of them in highly sensitive zones. What's significant is that the strikes coincided with power outages in several regions. It was later revealed that this occurred due to a Sejjil missile hitting a distribution center near Ashdod. Reports from Israel's Ministry of Health stated that more than 600 people were injured, 10 of them critically. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu immediately convened an emergency cabinet meeting. However, as reported by the Ynet agency, just an hour after the session, it became clear the anticipated support from allies was not forthcoming. Washington issued a cautious statement expressing deep concern and offering promises of support in deterring further escalation, but no action was taken. U.S. President Donald Trump, during his morning press conference, stated, "We are closely monitoring the situation, but America needs strategic wisdom and unemotional judgment." In London circles, this statement was seen as a signal. The U.S. does not want to get involved in a conflict that could escalate into direct confrontation with Iran and its allies. Meanwhile, an information disaster began to unfold within Israel. The main state broadcaster IBA interrupted its transmission due to power failures. Public Telegram channels and messengers were flooded with fake news, including false claims of a total security collapse and IDF retreating toward Cyprus. Social panic escalated. According to the Ma'ariv newspaper, spontaneous protests and mob actions erupted in Haifa, where people attempted to storm warehouses in search of food and water. In Be'er-Sheva, there was a recorded attempt to seize a gas station en masse. In one case, a police patrol guarded an empty fuel pump for nearly 6 hours. Military experts from Tel Aviv University admitted live on air, Iran used a saturation sunset tactic. The Sejjil missiles are not just powerful, they are launched in waves from different directions, creating the illusion of false targets. This tactic complicates defense efforts and results in minimal losses for the attacker. In the global information space, Israel faced a new threat: meme culture. Social media exploded with mockery. On X, formerly Twitter, the trending term was Shagaruta. Users posted memes showing Iron Dome sleeping on duty and Netanyahu with his Wi-Fi turned off. But behind the irony lies a troubling reality. According to former General Aryeh Ben-Shima, the army was unprepared for an asymmetric war. "We are ready to fight Hamas, but not a hyper-accurate missile onslaught." The political consequences became obvious the same day. The opposition blamed the government for a strategic catastrophe. "Israel built a wall but forgot that rockets don't line up to enter," wrote Knesset member Avigdor Lieberman. Thus, Iran's first strike was not just a military success, it was a blow to the system itself and to the overconfidence of a state that had grown used to thinking of itself as invincible. Panic on the ground. Infrastructure collapse. After the strike on military and strategic targets, Israel began to experience the second, equally devastating phase of the crisis: paralysis of commerce and logistics. The Sejjil missiles that hit distribution hubs and transport arteries triggered a systemic collapse that spread across the entire country. The streets of Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Ashkelon were not filled with sirens, but with the honking of desperate cars fleeing the centers of destruction. Israel, a country known for its high-tech reputation, found itself in a situation where a WhatsApp message felt more reliable than official alerts. According to reports from Jerusalem Post, more than 120 hospitals and medical units nationwide switched to emergency blackout mode. Generators couldn't cope, and medical supplies began running out within 24 hours. At Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, 5 attacks on ventilated patients were reported due to technical failures. The National Medical Center issued an appeal for blood donations, but most blood banks were either destroyed or unavailable. One of the worst situations developed in the country's south. As Haaretz reported, a missile strike destroyed Be'er-Sheva's central water pumping station. Thousands of families were left without water in extreme heat reaching 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Supermarkets quickly ran out of bottled water. Security forces, already disorganized, failed to prevent looting. Ben Gurion Airport and transport collapse. Ben Gurion, Israel's main international airport, was fully shut down. All flights were canceled. Planes were rerouted to Cyprus and Greece. 10 abandoned vehicles were left on the runway in panic. The Ministry of Transport reported a total collapse of the railway system. Control systems were knocked out, and power lines were damaged in 5 key network nodes. Mobile communications were also severely affected. According to a report by Calist Agency, over 47% of base stations were non-operational within the first day after the strike. The Red Alert emergency app and the Home Front Command's alerts lost public trust. People stopped relying on official information and turned instead to chats, rumors, and voice messages. It was in this environment that the full-scale crisis unfolded.